with an overwhelming 98.83% referendum vote. But they'll have to wait 5 months before it's officially confirmed as the world's newest country. Standing firm, protesters in Egypt call for mass rallies to force the president's ouster. The government attempted to persuade demonstrators to quit the streets by offering a public sector pay rise. Freed, the man who's credited with inspiring the January 25th anti-Mubarak protests in Egypt. Wael Ghonim was captured on January the 28th at Cairo's Tahrir Square, the heartbeat of the popular protest movement. Ghanim's the man behind the We Are All Khalid Saeed Facebook group. The group's been credited with setting off the public outcry over police torture, leading to the nationwide anti-Mubarak protests, which began on January the 25th. It's named after an activist said to have been beaten to death by police in Alexandria. You can watch Wael Ghanim's full interview with an English transcript on blogs.aljazeera.net. Also on Monday, public tribute was paid to a journalist killed during last week's violence. Jackie Rowland reports.
The death of a reporter. Ahmed Mahmoud was shot and killed as he took photographs of the police beating demonstrators near Tahrir Square. Inside the building, the president of the journalist syndicate comes to speak to the widow. Suddenly, he is mobbed by an angry crowd, hounded out as a crony of Hosni Mubarak. Numerous journalists have been beaten up and detained in the last 2 weeks. The one man so far to pay with his life worked for a state Egyptian newspaper.
For Egyptian journalist, Ahmed Mahmoud is a martyr of this revolution. They're not only mourning his death, they're also demanding that President Mubarak step down.
The journalists' union say Ahmed Mahmoud was deliberately targeted by the security forces. They want his killer put on trial.
We want justice for Ahmed Mahmoud. We want justice for all the people now in Tahrir Square and all Egypt. We want justice for this youth who bring this revolution, and someone want to steal it from them.
The marchers are now close to Tahrir Square. They reach the first barricade. The anti-government demonstrators are tense. They fear that Mubarak supporters may be trying to pass. But the procession is allowed through.
On Wednesday, hundreds of young men were killed by the horses and the weapons. And I was there, I saw them. So it is not just one shaheed, hundreds of shuhada.
Ahmed Mahmoud, honoured on this day, is only one among hundreds who have died. And in Tahrir Square, the vigil continues. It will end, the people say, only when Hosni Mubarak steps down. Jackie Rowland, Al Jazeera, Cairo.
Protesters in the Haitian capital Port-au-Prince gathered to demand President René Préval leave office immediately. Let's get the full story. Back to Shihab Ratansi in Washington, D.C. for that, Shihab.
Thanks again, Veronica. Hundreds marched near the collapsed presidential palace to call for Préval to resign. They set up burning barricades in the street and threw stones at police. Préval's mandate does expire on Monday, but Parliament has given him an extension because a new president has not yet been elected following the controversial first-round poll. The second round of voting is currently scheduled for March the 20th. Al Jazeera's Sebastian Walker was at that protest in Port-au-Prince. He sent this report.
You can see the police are moving forward, trying to disperse a crowd that's gathered just outside the presidential palace. We've had shots fired in the air. There's a real atmosphere of tension here throughout the morning. We've been seeing protesters gather, burning tyres, putting barricades in the street. You can see just over there, they've overturned these dumpsters, trying to stop the police getting towards the heart of where the protest is taking place. It's a very uncertain atmosphere in the air here. We've had all sorts of rumours about a possible return of Jean-Bertrand Aristide, the very popular former president of Haiti who's been living in exile in South Africa. The police have been firing tear gas canisters into the crowd to try to get them to disperse. You can see they've managed to clear most of this area, which is right outside the palace itself. We are being told that René Préval, Haiti's current president, is going to continue in office until after the scheduled presidential runoff vote on March the 20th, which will ultimately decide who becomes Haiti's next president.
Sebastian Walker. A fire has swept through several warehouses in Rio de Janeiro, destroying costumes and floats that were to be used in the city's forthcoming carnival. Fire crews battled for 4 hours to control the blaze, some warehouses losing 90% of their stock. Gabriel Elizondo reports from Sao Paulo.
As the building that houses Rio de Janeiro's carnival complex went up in flames, so too did the plans for the city's world-famous carnival parade. The billows of smoke rose from the Cidade do Samba, or Samba City as it's called. It's the huge warehouse building and tourist destination where the samba schools that take part in the official carnival parade build their elaborate floats and costumes. Those floats and costumes for 3 of the 12 samba schools were almost totally destroyed. Months of work, not to mention cultural symbols from the famous parade, all destroyed.
We lost everything. It's a huge suffering. This was the work of an entire lifetime that we loved, that we cared about, and to see it like this turned into ashes in a minute.
At the Granja Rio Samba School, more than 3,000 intricate costumes were turned into ash, and overall the damage is estimated to be over $5 million, throwing into chaos plans for this year's celebrations.
It is humanly impossible to make Carnival again in a month. This is impossible. All the money in the world won't be able to rebuild what Grande Rio has made.
But Rio's mayor says the carnival will go on, but it won't be easy, especially for the 3 samba schools that were putting the final touches on the floats, but that now are almost totally destroyed.
União de Ilha Samba School was fully ready for the carnival. Grande Rio is ready. Portela's preparations were very advanced. Unfortunately, it's going to be difficult to restore the work of a whole year in 30 days. But these schools have the hallmark of Rio's carnival. Lots of passion and lots of people involved. Carnival will go on.
The cause of the fire is not yet clear, but what is apparent is that next month's carnival in Rio won't quite be the same, at least not this year. Gabriel Elizondo, Al Jazeera, Sao Paulo.
And that's all from the Americas. Let's return once again to Veronica.
Thanks, Shihab. UN Chief Ban Ki-moon is said to be, quote, deeply concerned about the standoff on the Thai-Cambodia border and has called for maximum restraint. Fighting over the past 4 days has forced thousands of Thai villagers to flee the disputed border region. Hundreds of Cambodians have also been evacuated from the area. Both countries lay claim to the region surrounding the Preah Vihear temple. Footage has emerged of a gang of Muslim men beating to death 3 members of the Ahmadiyya sect in Indonesia. The attack's been condemned by rights groups and the government announced an investigation. We should warn you that this report by Step Varson contains images which some viewers may find distressing.
It is gruesome footage. Police stand by while a mob starts attacking houses belonging to Ahmadiyya followers. Then the killing starts. 3 men are stripped naked, stoned and beaten to death. The footage is too graphic to show. Police outnumbered by the crowd just stand by.
What I mostly regret is that this is being done in the name of religion. Even if it hadn't been done in the name of religion, this is too horrible to watch.
Ahmadiyya followers are accused by some in Indonesia of being defiant Muslims because they believe the sect's founder was a prophet. Mainstream Muslims believe that Muhammad was Islam's last prophet. Human rights groups accuse the government of indirectly inciting the violence after it banned Ahmadiyya's activities in 2008. This has criminalized the group and has made it the focus of violent attacks. President Yudhoyono defends the government's decision to ban Ahmadiyya's activities.
If everyone had followed our agreement, this kind of riot, this kind of violence could have been prevented.
Protesters are demanding the government defend religious minorities in Indonesia more seriously. Tolerance and religious freedom under attack in Indonesia in an increasingly brutal way. People killing others horrifically in name of religion. These protesters are demanding the government to immediately stop the incitement of hatred. The Indonesian government has announced it will review the law that bans Ahmadiyya, but it has refrained from making clear how it plans to protect its followers. Step Vassen, Al Jazeera, Jakarta.
Emergency warnings have been issued for areas of Western Australia as bushfires continue to spread. The blazes destroyed dozens of homes near the state capital, Perth, and more properties are under threat. February is the last month of summer in Australia. It marks the height of both the monsoon season in the tropical north and the riskiest period for wildfires. Health officials in Sri